Justin Ross placed on the injured reserve. Zach Eisen posted photos from Instagram of someone in Ross's like inner circle, friend, family, whatever it was. He was in like this walking stroller type thing. He had a foot injury in college in his last season that really made him ineffective, and then he tested poorly pre-draft. Apparently that was still bothering him. I don't know if it was a re-aggravation. From the way Andy Reid mentioned it and talked about it and what I've heard and seen, I'm not sure it was like a re-aggravation. I think it was really just he wasn't fully 100%, but he was good enough to work out and stuff. And they said, well, dude, hey, if you're going to be a part of this team, we want you to be 100%. We don't want there to be any risk. That's what I kind of got from it. Needless to say, his rookie season's over before it started. So there's not going to be any Justin Ross this year. The hype train's down, but for 2023, he's going to have opportunity. I think the group is not set in stone in front of him. So I don't think it's all bad news. And Mark, you mentioned before, it should have been expected, kind of.
Yeah, going into the season, even if he didn't have the surgery, it seemed like it was coming that he was going to be put on the IR no matter what, just as a red shirt season because of, like you said, they signed Juju Smith-Schuster, they signed MVS, they still had Hardman, you have Josh Gordon coming back on a 1-year deal, you drafted Sky Moore. So Justin Ross is wide receiver 6 at this point. If he beats out Cornell Powell and however many other guys, Corey Coleman, I think they signed, Travis Kelce, obviously, tight end 1, wide receiver 1. So yeah, he would be like the 7th or 8th option this year. So I think it's a good thing for Ross to fix the problem and be able to learn the playbook, everything else, and get back at it next year, because I think that's the best option for him and the team. So I think it's going to work out. But I do like that the Chiefs got him in the undrafted free agency, because I think the Chiefs were one of 4 teams that had him as a cleared medical, which so they probably knew that he could play in quotes, but that he probably needed to get it fixed. So that's why he didn't get drafted. That's why the Chiefs got him. But I think that it's good for both parties.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And with the wideout position, the top 4 is kind of set, man. Like there's not a lot to talk about in some order. It's going to be Juju. It's going to be McCole Hardman. It's going to be MVS. It's going to be Sky Moore. Like I don't anticipate anything crazy happening to break up that 4, barring an injury, God forbid. Behind them, though, you got Justin Watson. You got Cornell Powell, last year's 5th round pick, I believe. You got Darius Fountain, who was like a training camp preseason darling. I'm down to 3 preseason games. Not like that's anything new or crazy. Limited opportunities, I guess, for both starters and backups to kind of make their case. Josh Gordon is still in the fold after underwhelming, I think, safe to say, last season, even though he is 31 years old, coming off of not being in the league for a while, all that stuff. So I think the Ross injury doesn't really play a role in this. I don't think the top 4 really plays a role in this, other than there being 1 or 2 spots left. One of those guys has to be able to play special teams. I'd be very, very, very puzzled and really just shocked, more shocked than puzzled, if neither guy was going to be a teams guy. So if it was, I can't even think of 2 out of that group that wouldn't. I think Powell would be playing special teams. I think Fountain would be playing. I think Watson would. Gordon's the only one I just don't see doing it. So yeah, I'm going to go Gordon as the 5th guy, I think. I believe the Chiefs are still drinking that Kool-Aid. Behind him, though, I don't know, man. I think the best man's going to win. And Gordon's not a lock, but I think his odds are pretty good right now. I'd go Powell or Fountain. I know that Watson has had a bleep ton of hype throughout the offseason. The investment in Powell, though, not that 5th round is like huge or anything. And then Fountain, he just has the recency type, not recency bias, but like recency, is favoritism the right word? I guess like he's in better favor with the Chiefs.
Yeah. he's had that time with them, and he played a little bit last year. He got some time when they were, I don't remember what game it was, but he had a decent. Didn't he have one game where he kind of played a little bit more than what we thought?
Yeah, and I think he had like a catch against somebody, or at least a target. I forget. It was like later in the season, I think, which obviously shows how much of an impact the sixth wide receiver makes in Kansas City. But still, like it's a valuable position, and he can play teams to the best
Yep.
of my knowledge. I think he would in this scenario. So it's going to be one of those last three. I think Gordon is more likely than not going to get there. I'll lean Powell for that final spot, or not Powell, sorry, Fountain. But Powell and Watson, I think, can challenge. And poor Corey Coleman, I don't think he stands much of a chance.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on this one. Gordon, without looking it up, because I didn't look it up, but I think he was drafted in 2012.
So that's a long time ago. Dude.
That's 10 years. That's 10 years ago.
Dude's been not even in the league, but like NFL. I can't say NFL eligible because he's been the beginning of his career to now has spanned a long time. We will just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think it's been a decade now in the league. I think he's only had like 3 seasons, but I think that Gordon still has, because of that, he doesn't have the wear and tear.
Yes.
So he's not like an old 30-year-old. He's kind of more like a 26, 27-year-old receiver, in my opinion. That could be totally off, but that's just kind of how I'm viewing it if I'm the Chiefs, potentially as a 5th wide receiver, or 4th if there's an injury potentially. But I think he could still be a red zone guy. He just needs to make the catches. But I think that Fountain's going to be the guy with the special teams. Powell, I mean, I wasn't super high on him. I know you were higher on him last year than I was, but I haven't seen him play special teams, so that's why I'm leaning Fountain. And I do have to say, Garrett Dieter retired. We didn't mention that. So
yeah. I can't believe I let that slip through the cracks. That's on me. I take full responsibility for that.
He was always a training camp, preseason guy that, you looked at the wide receiver and knew he wasn't going to make the team, but he was having fun out there. He's Mahomes' guy. So wanted to give him a shout out and a happy retirement.